Hello everyone, the star of today's recipe is peanuts. Yes, like we popularly call in Nigeria, groundnuts. So this is what we're going to be using as the star of this recipe today. Is a chocolate cake, is a chocolate peanut cake, and this recipe is super delicious. Trust me, you want to try out this recipe if you love to bake, if you sell cake slices, if you sell cakes. I want to introduce a new flavor to your customers. This is one recipe they would definitely love. Like everyone loves peanuts. Who doesn't love peanuts? Even if you don't like it as it is like this, everybody loves peanut butter. People eat peanut ice cream and what's not. So peanut is one nut that is universally loved. Hence why I feel this recipe is going to be a game changer in your recipe book. If you've not subscribed to the channel, please kindly do that. I am Oluwabukola Ajayi and welcome back to Bake with Oluwabukola right here on Naija Bakers TV. And please don't forget to always click the thumbs up button. Always drop a comment. I love to read from you guys. And also don't forget to share this video with family and friends. Please guys, when you click the subscribe button for me, when you share the channel with others and they also come to subscribe, it just gladdens my heart and it encourages me to create more amazing recipes for you. Let's dive right into baking. It's a very simple recipe. All you need is your all-purpose flour. You need chocolate bars. This is not compulsory. This is for the frosting or for your filling. You're also using brown sugar in this recipe. Brown sugar, the moment I pop out brown sugar, just know I want to give you a cake that literally melts in the mouth, because the molasses in your brown sugar helps your bakes to come out even more softer and moist. And we're going to be using instant coffee. I have this in my 1 cup measurement simply because I'm going to be adding hot water to this as we go. And we are going to be using 2 whole eggs. This is baking soda. And I'm definitely using yogurt for this. So this is sweetened yogurt. You can decide to go on sweetened if that's what you want. But this is sweetened vanilla flavored yogurt. It does not have to be vanilla flavored if you can get that. And I have here with me my cocoa powder. Definitely, it can't be chocolate cake if cocoa powder is not present. I'm also using cooking oil. Any cooking oil will do. This is not flavored. This is just the regular plant-based cooking oil. And of course, like I said, my peanuts or groundnuts, whatever it is you call it, this is not fresh. This has been toasted. So if you get the fresh one from the market, you can always toast it in your air fryer, in your ovens. You can use the sand method, but I got this pre-toasted so I don't have to go through the stress of that. So this recipe is simple, very simple. You don't need a mixer for this recipe. We're just going to be combining our dry ingredients in one bowl, and we'll combine our wet ingredients in one bowl, and we'll mix everything together. And this recipe is super good. Let's start mixing. It's super easy, like I said. Into my bowl goes the all-purpose flour and the baking soda goes in there. So for this recipe, what we are using as the rising agents is the baking soda. They're just something that works well with baking soda and yogurt and hot water. It just makes sense every time. And into this goes the cocoa powder. You can choose to dissolve this in your hot water with the coffee mixture if that works for you. For me, I just put everything in there. For me it's just same, same thing. I really don't care about where that goes into. And this is the mixture, so I just ensure that I whisk this properly so that everything incorporates properly in together, and so that I can get a very good cake. And mind you, while I'm mixing and doing all of this, my oven is preheating. Please guys, don't forget to always preheat your oven. It's very important you do that. And I'm going to be baking this at 325. And if you're using an oven that has the gas number, I know you bake this in between the 3 and the 4 number. We can stay on 4, that's fine, but just in between the 3 and 4. Okay, so now into this bowl goes my brown sugar, uh the yogurt, the cooking oil. And if you notice for this recipe, my cooking oil is quite small if you check the recipe in the video, because this is peanuts. So peanut is quite oily, so I don't want too much. When I was creating this recipe, I ensured that the cooking oil is not much, so that by the time the peanut goes into the batter and everything mixes together in the oven and it begins to melt, I don't want my cake to come out oily. And the eggs. So egg number 1 and egg number 2. So what do? I whisk everything together. Okay, so into this, I'm going to add my flavors. For the flavor, I'm using a mixture of vanilla extract and chocolate extract. So if you can get the chocolate flavor in the market, fantastic. If you can't get it, just stick with the vanilla and you're good. So this is the vanilla and this is the chocolate flavor. So I mix that together with my wet ingredients. As you can see. Now I bring the dry ingredients, then I add this to it. It's a one bowl kind of recipe, no ceremony, no stress. Everything just works, everything just makes sense kind of recipe. Even before adding the hot water, you can see that the consistency is pretty beautiful. That is what the consistency looks like. And now I'm going to be adding the peanuts into this. The peanut, it goes. This is what this looks. You can only tell that this is going to be so delicious. This is what it looks like. So now I'm adding, as you can see, there's instant coffee in the cup of water. I pour it into the batter as such and I whisk this together. So why I love instant coffee in my chocolate cake is it just has a way of enhancing the taste, the flavor of the cocoa powder. It simply brings it to life. It just makes sense. It makes sense all the time. It makes sense at all times. When you have the coffee to eat, the aroma in the studio right now is beautiful. So now this is what my batter looks like. And for the peanuts, you can puree it. If you don't like to see it chunky, if you don't want to taste the chunkiness of it all, you can blend it. You can use your food processor. You can use your blender. You can crush it into tiny bits or even turn it into a puree. Then add it into this. If you don't want to go through the stress of getting the toasted peanut, you can also always just get peanut butter. You use that and you use it for this recipe. You will get the same taste. Fine, you might not get the crunchiness, the texture and all. I will get simply because I decided to use the peanut as it is, or you can just go whichever way. Simply stick to the recipe when it comes to the measurements and everything, but it is what it is. And this is what it looks like. And into our pan it goes. As you can see, this is so good. The consistency of the butter is everything for me. It's not too running, it's not too light, it's there, it will definitely hold its own. It's a very beautiful butter. Like I said, my oven is preheating. I pre-lined my baking pan as well with baking paper. If you don't have baking paper, simply grease your pan and then dust it with a little bit of cocoa powder. When I make dark exterior cakes, if it's a chocolate cake, I use cocoa powder to dust my baking pan. If it is a vanilla cake, I use all-purpose flour to dust the baking pan. So because this is a dark exterior cake, if you don't have baking paper, you dust with cocoa powder after greasing with butter or margarine. But I'm going to be baking this for between 40 to 50 minutes at 325. While my chocolate peanut cake is baking, I'm going to be candying some peanuts. I don't know. Yes, I want to make some candied peanuts. So that means I want to melt sugar, granulated sugar. Then when it melts completely, as if like caramelized sugar, then I will pour in my peanuts and then stir together, lay it on the surface to cool so it becomes candied. I want to use that as the ganache, to frost the cake on the top of the cake. So if you sell cake slices, for example, or you just want a beautiful presentation and also add more flavor, build more flavor to the cake and everything, this is definitely one step I would love you to, to do. So here is I have 1/4 cup of toasted peanuts, and I'm going to also be using equal amounts of sugar, 1/4 cup of sugar. Over very low heat, place a non-stick pan. Non-stick is very, very important for this, and gradually melt the sugar while constantly stirring. Then pour in the peanuts and quickly, as fast as you can, fold the melted sugar and the peanuts together. Then you get a baking paper, place it on your counter surface and pour the candied peanuts over it. Then use the baking paper to also cover the candied peanuts and use a rolling pin. Please don't use your palms, it was quite hot doing this. All you just want to achieve is a flat candied peanut that you can break when it cools off completely, and just leave it open like this to cool off completely. And yay, our cake is out of the oven, and look at that gorgeousness. So yeah, I'm simply inverting it on the cooling rack so you can cool down for me. But if you're not using it immediately, you can always quickly just wrap it with cling film and keep this in your freezer. Add chocolate peanut cake. It has cooled down, so I want to cut into it so you can see what the inside looks like. I want you to see. Can you see that gorgeousness? That looks absolutely beautiful. And this is the top. None of this is going to waste. Yeah. So I'm going to cut this into 2 equal parts. I'll try. And the smell, the aroma of the peanuts is everything, is divine. And you can see how solid the butter is. The butter is so, so good that the peanuts spread evenly in the cake. It didn't sink to the bottom. It's not a case of we have some at the bottom, we have some on top. The peanut is evenly everywhere inside the cake. So this is my melted chocolate. This is melted chocolate. As you can see, I will just be putting that and spreading a little bit of that on my cake. I want a little bit of that goodness in there. So I'm using melted chocolate to sandwich my cake together, just to give you that extra oomph of chocolate. You can see that. And I place this back on it, and I generously put chocolate glaze again all over this. It's just chocolate, nothing more. I didn't even add milk cream. I did not add cream. I did not add anything to this. I just melted my chocolate, and that is it. And this is high quality chocolate, please. Tray. I would like to just cut off the sides, just trim off the sides so that everyone can see what the cake looks on the inside. I'm just trimming off the sides. So if you sell cake slices, can you see that? Can you see that? It's an abundance of peanuts. The peanuts is everywhere. The peanut is everywhere. And that is what that looks like. So cut this into 4 equal sizes. And I'll just eyeball this here and say, okay, this is half. Or say this is half. And you can see that beauty. Like, this is so beautiful. Yeah, and that is that. Now I've transferred my cake cutouts. You can see that looks beautiful, isn't it? But we are not done yet. And then don't forget this candied peanuts I made earlier. So I'll just break that and use that as for aesthetics. For crunch, and use a smaller one to tilt this up. Okay. And there you have it, my chocolate peanut cake that looks like a Snicker bar. Like this looks like a Snicker bar, isn't it? Beautiful presentation. You can always use this for your cake slices, for your dessert setup, for those who love chocolate. This is like delightful chocolate, and for those who love peanuts, they would definitely love this. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please don't forget to subscribe, drop a comment, click the thumbs up button, and share this video with family and friends. Thank you, and see you next time.